Mr. Cullen, Manila folder, there should be an oath made out in your name. Could you hold the Bible in the right hand and repeat the words of the oath, please?
I, Alfred, swear, affirm that the testimony I shall give today before this commission in the matters in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me, God.
Thank you. Could you state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Alfred Kahl, Senior Land Information Officer at the Land Information Center, Land and Surveyors Department, Ministry of Natural Resources.
Thank you. And your address, please?
My address is 5460 St. Matthew Street, Belmopan.
Thank you. Mr. Kahl, we had requested of the Ministry of Natural Resources and asked that they prepare a report showing all transfers of lands by to Mr. Zurong Lee over the period October 2019 through November 2020. You prepared a report as to your findings?
Yes, I have prepared a report at the request of the CEO pertaining to the parcels of land that Mr. Lee owned. The report contains information such as the amount of parcels that he owned, where are they located, the location, the sizes of these parcels, and also the dates that these parcels were acquired or transferred.
Do you have a copy of that report here, that written report?
Yes, I have a copy of the report.
Yes. Do you wish to make it available to the Commission formally? Yes, thank you. But before you do so, Mr. Kahl, can you take us through the report, tell us what your findings were and explain it?
Sure.
Could we look at the one dated February 18, 2021 first?
Let me just get my documents here.
Yes.
Okay, yes, I have this report dated February 18, 2021.
Do you wish to read that to us or summarize your findings as best you can?
Okay, so based on this research, the findings are as follows. Again, a parcel table was developed showing again the different fields for example, the parcel ID, the location where these parcels are, where they were acquired from, if it's from government of Belize or from third party, the dates of these transfer. So the findings are as follows. The research shows that Mr. Lee owns or has title to a total of 36 parcels of land all over the country of Belize. However, 23 of these parcels are located in San Pedro, Belize district. And I provided a table here that shows the number of parcels that he has. Again, the total is 36. But between October and November 2020, 17 parcels were acquired by Mr. Lee. So from the supporting table, which is attached, it shows a total of 17 parcels acquired by Mr. Lee between October and November of 2020. And again, this was highlighted in the table. If you look at the green color, those are all the transfer that are done or the land that are acquired by Mr. Lee within those two months. So 11 of the 17 parcels acquired within those 2 months are in San Pedro. Out of these 11, out of these 11 parcels in San Pedro, 4 of them were acquired directly from the government of Belize. But as well, there are third transfer parties, meaning he didn't acquire it from GOB, but from someone else. So those are what we call third-party transfers. Again, the report shows that based on the information, again, the information that I used to prepare this report is the land folder system. The land folder system contains all records, all information from the beginning. For example, if you want to apply for a piece of land, it records when it was received, when the application was received, and until its full completion. So all of those records are digitalized. It's in a system that you can access. So based on that system, I was able to generate this report and show that the parcels that Mr. Lee acquired. So in total, there's 29 transactions for Mr. Lee in 2020. And again, 12 of, that is entire year 2020, 12 of those transactions are direct transfer from GOB, 17 are private transfer, and however, 13 of those transfer owners acquired land previously from the government of Belize and then transferred to Mr. Lee. So what the record is showing based again on the system is that third party acquired the land from the government of Belize, and then it shows that these parcels are transferred to Mr. Lee. Again, this research shows, again, it's a total of 36 parcels acquired by Mr. Lee, that is for the entire country, and 8 are previously or privately owned parcels that are transferred to him. And this means that these are not acquired land from the government of Belize. So in a nutshell, my findings is, again, based on the record here from the land folder system within the month of October and November, 17 parcels were acquired by Mr. Lee, and these are both from third party and government of Belize.
What about the date duration of transfer field, Mr. Carl? What does that show?
The date of transfer?
Date/duration of transfer field on the table.
Okay, the date that is shown on those, again, this is based on the system. The system records when this transaction started and where it ended. So it shows when the transfer started and when it was completed.
Yes, and what does it show in respect of the parcels to Mr. Lee?
Well, in respect to the parcels of Mr. Lee, I would have to find that.
Do you have the report?
The table.
Do you have the report?
I have the report. Yes,
Look,
so the report
look at the 4th paragraph from the bottom.
Okay, we're on transfer, or say, okay, so yes, so what the data is showing is some of these transfer are done within the same day.
Yeah, how many of them?
Let's see. I think there is I think there's 11 of them.
It says 11 of the 29 transfer transactions conducted in 2020 are completed on the same day. Is that what you reported?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. You have a difficulty saying that?
No. I'm just I'm looking for my table, I think I misplaced it somewhere. But the report, yes, this is the written report.
Yes.
What the table actually shows the dates of those transfers. Yes.
Yes.
So,
You found that surprising that 11 of the 29 happened on the same day?
well, it is. I mean, I'm not in a position to answer if it's surprising for those transactions to happen in one day. I think the Register of Land would be in a better position to answer that question.
Yeah. Well, look at the second paragraph of your report. Do you wish to resile from that? It says, based on these findings.
Okay. Yes. So, based on these findings, it is safe to to say that Mr. Lee seems to be a very influential person, and based on that, the data is showing that probably he has some assistant
From inside the
from the Land and Service Department. Yes.
You have difficulty saying that?
No, no, there's no difficulty saying that.
You say under normal circumstances, the type of transaction would take 2 to 3 months to complete.
Again, based on data, if you look at the table, if you go back to Mr. Lee's transaction a few years back, there are transfers that he has completed in 2017, 2018. And if you look at those dates, it will show you that those transfers take within 2 to 3 months to complete.
Yes. But there were 11 of the 29 in the year leading up to the general elections that were all concluded in one day.
Yes.
You also prepared a report on sales by Mr. Lee, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And what were your findings? What period did you search and what were your findings?
Well, the report period is for, again, the months of October to the present. So a search was done to look at the month of October, November up to present to see if there are any transfer that are being done by Mr. Lee to any third party.
Yeah.
So
what did you find?
So what I found is there are 3 ongoing transfer by Mr. Lee. We have parcels 8483, that's San Pedro, parcel ID 7-428483. That is San Pedro, and that is being currently transferred to Sweet Paradise Limited, Coconut Drive, San Pedro Town.
And what's the price stated in the transfer?
The price stated in this transfer is 70,000 Belize dollars.
Okay. What else did you find?
There are other transfer again. So this one this parcel is a direct purchase from the government of Belize, and this is the parcel that's been transferred now to Sweet Paradise Limited.
All right. Well, do you have a file for that purchase?
Yes, I have a file for that purchase.
Can you tell us how much Mr. Lee bought that land from the government of Belize for?
Okay, so based on the information again from the land folio system, it is showing that the land was bought for 2,000 Belize dollars from the government of Belize.
Who signed that transfer in favor of Mr. Lee on behalf of the government of Belize?
Well, the record is showing here that it is signed by the former Minister of Land, Mr. Hugo Pat.
So it was bought from the government of Belize for $2,000, and it's now being sold by Mr. Lee for $70,000.
That's what the record is showing. That's what is in the
Yes.
system. Yes.
Yes. What about the other parcels, the other 2 parcels being sold?
There are other 2 parcels being sold or being transferred by Mr. Lee to. So these 2 parcels are 8670 and 8667. Again, both San Pedro parcels. Both of these parcels are currently being transferred to Israel de Jesus Barrientos of 1607 Flying Fish Street, San Pedro Town. And again, the cost that they stated is 25,000 Belize dollars.
25,000 each.
Yes.
Yes. Do you wish, you have a copy of that report for the commission?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have a copy of the
You
report.
wish to leave that with us as well?
Sure.
Thank you. I want confirmation, Mr. Carl, the direct purchases from the government of Belize by Mr. Lee. All, I think it's 11 of them, is that correct?
Yes, there are 11.
In the past year. Were they all signed by Minister Hugo Pat? All the transfers to Mr. Lee?
Yes, again, based on the information and the system,
Yes.
all of this transfer
Well, you-
as
you-
shown on the,
You have copies of the transfers?
I have copies of the transfer and they are signed, yes, by the
The
former Minister of
Minister,
Lands, yes.
Yes. That's not unusual in any way. The Minister of Lands would sign all transfers, wouldn't he?
Yes, exactly,
Yes.
he's the minister, so he has the
The final
the
say.
final say.
Yes. All right. Did you bring files for us for the 11 direct purchases from the government?
Yes, as requested, I have
Yes.
I made copies of these transaction and these information that I used to generate my report. So yes, those are,
And you've brought them for us?
yes, I brought it.
All right, thank you. I have no further questions, Mr. Khan. Mr. Martinez?
Mr. Carl, can you identify what role Mr. Leiva played in this transaction?
I cannot see what role Mr. Leiva played in this transaction. Again, the Landfolio system is designed to track this application, but it doesn't show, like, for example, who are actually assisting or who are, what role each staff is playing in the processing of this application. But the records are there that shows the application of the file, when it started and when it was completed.
Yeah, so in your report you said that it seems that he has influence, he's a very influential man. Would you say that to employees in the Ministry of Natural Resources, with employees in the Ministry of Natural Resources?
Well, that is a statement that is based on the record that is shown, so it would seem that yes, probably he has some kind of assistant.
Like at what level though?
Again, I cannot say at what level he has assistant. I'm not involved in the processing of this application, so I'm not sure at what level he has that kind of assistant.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Mr. Blake? Nothing? All right, thank you, Mr. Carl. We'd appreciate the documents you have for us, and thanks for your assistance.
Okay, sure. Thank you too.
Thank you.